We are lost. We do not know where to go. I pray that the whole world pressurizes Israel to end the war and to release us. We are tired. We've been walking around without knowing where to go.
Israel vowed on Wednesday to press on with a powerful operation in Gaza's Rafah, even as calls mounted for it to hold off sending troops into the territory's overcrowded city. Netanyahu has insisted that Hamas battalions must be eliminated in the city. Egyptian and Qatari mediators in Cairo are hoping to secure a ceasefire that would see more of the roughly 130 hostages still in Gaza released in another swap. Now, a Hamas source told news agency AFP a team that was headed to Cairo to meet Egyptian and Qatari mediators a day after Israeli negotiators held talks with mediators. CIA director had joined Tuesday's talks with David Barnea, who's the head of Israel's Mossad intelligence service, which Egyptian media said had mostly been positive. U.S. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby called the negotiations constructive and moving in the right direction. Netanyahu said that Israel would push for the release of hostages through strong military pressure and very firm negotiations. He said, and I quote here, "I insist that Hamas drop their delusional demands, and when they drop these demands, we can move forward." The United States rebuked Israel for demolishing the home of a Palestinian activist in East Jerusalem, saying its ally was damaging its own standing. In Washington, State Department spokesman Matthew Miller said that the United States condemned the demolition and would encourage Israel not to target other homes.
We condemn the demolition of Fakhri Abu Diab's home. He is a community leader in East Jerusalem. We believe that demolition not only obviously damages his home and his family and the lives that they have built there, but the entire community who live in fear that their homes may be next. This has been their family home for generations. Part of the structure dates back to before 1967. He has been an outspoken community leader, including against demolitions, and now his family has been displaced.
Now, since the outbreak of the Israel-Hamas war, Hezbollah has traded near daily fire with Israeli troops, with tens of thousands displaced on both sides. At least 9 people, 7 of them civilians, were killed on Wednesday in Israeli strikes on South Lebanon, while the Israeli army said that it lost a soldier in cross-border rocket fire. Now, more than 240 people have been killed in Lebanon, and mostly from Hezbollah, but also including over 30 civilians. In Israel, the army says that 10 soldiers and 6 civilians have been killed. French President Emmanuel Macron told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that the Gaza death toll was intolerable and Israel's operations there must cease. The French leader stressed that a ceasefire agreement should be reached without further delay. He added that such a deal should guarantee the protection of all civilians and the massive inflow of emergency aid. Now, during her visit to Jerusalem, German Foreign Minister repeated Israel must provide corridors of protection in Rafah, and she pitched for safe places where civilians can also be cared for, especially medically. And speaking to reporters at the UN, the Arab League's permanent UN representative for February reaffirmed the group's key demands. And they include an immediate ceasefire, unhindered humanitarian assistance, and a prevention of any plan of transfer of the Palestinians from their own land. The Arab League called on the UN Security Council to take action and decide on a humanitarian ceasefire resolution.
We reaffirmed the 3 main demands of the Arab group, which are an immediate ceasefire, an unhindered humanitarian assistance, and a prevention of any plan of transfer of the Palestinians from their land.
Egyptian President and his Turkish counterpart criticized Israel's conduct of the war in Gaza Strip, and they called for a ceasefire. Erdogan, on his first visit to Egypt in more than 10 years, denounced Netanyahu's occupation, destruction and massacres. For his part, Sisi criticized Israel's obstacles, which mean that humanitarian aid enters Gaza too slowly. Egypt controls the Rafah crossing into Gaza, but Israel insists on inspecting every aid shipment.